It's waifu time! Hello, welcome to another figure review. Today we're going to have a look at the Figma number 396. It's Ichi. From the series Heavily Armed High School Girls, based on the illustrations by Neco. Now, the reason I picked this up now, by the way, I got this one pre-owned from Army, but I only picked this up now because I got Lanze Reiter from the Falslander line, which is also based on the artwork by Neco, and I really like that figure, so I decided to give another shot at each. That doesn't say I might pick up more armored high school girls, I don't know yet, but first, step by step, let's have a look at this one. We really love Figma around here, can't you see? If you love Figma, you should really subscribe. Man, she's definitely tall for Figma. How tall, you might ask? Well, I'm here to tell you. She stands at about 15 3 centimeters. That means we are going up to pretty much 5'9" inches tall. Size comparisons. Here's Jalter, Lanze Reiter, SH Figure Arts Goku, and Darkseid. Overall look and detail, I can tell you right now, I love the style already. It really has its own unique charm to it. First of all, she is super long in like the entirety of the body. She has a fairly long torso, almost too long, depending on how you look at it. And also the legs are never ending. But that's a little bit of an illusion, I guess, to her weird kind of robot things she has, the robot armor she has on the feet. Because by the look of it, the feet would end over here, and then you have those robot high heels. But anyway, also the face sculpt. Love the eyes on these Neco creations. We do have a smudge over there? No, goes off. Phew. But yeah, the eyes, it's just a beautiful expression. You have the thick eyelashes, eyebrows, and the hair as well. Has a bunch of stains coming down, nicely molded, and 2 hair clips on the side, which unfortunately are not well painted whatsoever. The white is bleeding all over it, and it seems like the black is not covering the entirety of the mold. Now for the rest of it, going to the back of the hair, you have these spiky things covering up for the hinges that are under it. It looks kind of weird. I mean, considering how these spikes are pretty thick, don't really have much detail in it. And then the rest of it is a lot more thinner, and there's a lot of lines in it. So you have some pink in the scarf that kind of goes around her neck. The line work on the top over here, the white lines are good. And yes, the boobies, the bobas, or whatever you want to call it. So it's a bit nipply. The weather's a bit nipply, wouldn't you say? Then you have the gray straps that go around the chest. For the most part, it is good once again, but it has some bleeding under the boobs, because this entire piece, they could have just molded maybe the straps under the boobs and have it be a single piece, then that wouldn't have happened. By the way, I think I mentioned it before, but this is pre-owned, so that might be like the classic stuff with the paint and whatnot. You know, not every copy is gonna have awful paint, and I don't think even this one's awful, but does have some low points, unfortunately. We have some green on the armor and the white work, and just a little, I liked also the idea of just like, it's called heavily armored high school girls, but I wouldn't call this heavily armored. You have armor on the arms and on the feet, and that's about it. Also has some very cool gloves with some dark red, dark pink, and we have also some gold kind of hidden in the back of the armor, which you don't even see. I wish they would have done something with that, kind of like a weaponry, kind of maybe move it out. Because it is a nice metallic in there, but you're not even going to see it for the most part. Down to the belly button, which is another thing. Engineering-wise, it's good. It's going to have some good articulation, but you do have some ugly stuff under there. Although, for the most part, you're obviously not going to see it unless you pose it like that, which, I almost showed it a little bit too early, but it's pantsu time. It's a fairly small one. It's a good one, though. It has a little bit of detail, of course, in the wrinkles. The pantsu, I'm pleased with it. Also the butt, nice butt mold. Like, I hate with like the SH Figure Arts or whatnot that you don't have a full butt in those sometimes, that they kind of split up the butt, but yeah. No, with Figma you have full butt. Then you have the strap that goes around the thigh. Has some more bleeding on some parts and doesn't really go over the line completely. And then you have these pouches that are just connected. Have a little bit of a different tone, so that's kind of weird. Have the one stocking in one leg, has some more bleeding, and the lower, well, not really stocking, this is more like a sock. Going down to the armor, which has some more green on. Wow, okay. That did not even hit all of the green there. Back to the armor. which by the way does have a little bit of a metallic shine to it, like not that much on the upper part I feel like, but down on the leg parts, on the feet part, have a little bit of pink, and of course the high heels. She obviously does not really stand very well. I don't think you can. I mean, I've tried it before, but it's better just, you're better just off using the base because can't really pivot these. But we'll get to the articulation right now. So yeah, articulation, starting off at the hair, you have 2 ball hinges on the hair joint, so you can move that up and down, move it around. The head moves forward, moves to the back, not really that much because of the hair blocking it, does tilt side to side, and it does go all the way around. I'm crashing with the arm over there. The arm itself, you have the shoulder, which is on a ball joint in the chest area, and another ball hinge on the shoulder itself, so you can bring that forward, up and down, and then the hinge itself, you can bring up the arm. Pretty nice range of it, and the elbow has a ball hinge, goes up and down, fist goes up and down, swivel, chest area, we have the upper part actually with the bobas, goes back and forth, does tilt side to side, and it swivels all the way around. Now for the lower part, as I've shown you on the shirt, there is what seems to be a hinge joint. As such, it doesn't really move, which is weird. Why make a hinge? I mean, the forward movement is very satisfactory for poses like that. Backward not so much, but you know, it doesn't swivel and it doesn't rotate really because it's a hinge. If that was a ball, it would have a lot more range. Then the leg moves forward, moves out to the side. It's kind of pretty stiff over there. And despite the fairly big butt, it does have a good range also to the back. You can rotate it on the ball. You have a ball hinge in the knee and another ball hinge at the foot. There's actually nothing over here. No swivel, no nothing, but yeah, the ball hinge, which does not really pivot due to the nature of how it's molded in there. And now, let's get to the really good part. And I mean the really good part, the part I'm really gonna enjoy. First, we have a face. It's kind of like a yelling face, but again, it's just like one of those yelling faces where the expression doesn't even change. She doesn't even look angry. She just looks kind of annoyed, just like, and has the mouth open. Yeah, it's not great. But then again, maybe that's like kind of the idea to not have too much expression. Actually, before I get to the good stuff, let's have a look at the hands. You have 2 kind of open hands, 2 holding hands for all the swords, and you have 2 sets of hands, or I mean 1 set of hands with a peg in it to hold on to this one, and another open one for more posing options, and then this one, well, these ones actually go together. Kinda got that mixed up, but anyway, you have 2 small blades which are always the same style, and one of the cool parts is that those can actually be stored on the figure, which I love me some weapon storage. It's a very tight fit, but it does work. You can use them. This hole, the other hole is a little bit mangled, so I don't know if that will work. Yeah, that works actually. So you can store the swords in her boots, robot boots, whatever you want to call it. And then the swords. You have triple swords, and they are really freaking long. There's some writing on there, a logo on it, and just more like a matte black with some nice metallic on the tips. Actually very nicely painted on this one. Don't really have much bleeding. And obviously you can also take the sword out to reveal it. It's actually beautiful. And it's so freaking long. It's as long as the figure. I'm gonna have another look at it. The camera's kind of angled badly to show you that right now. But yeah, you have the golden handle and also like the red and some more gold on it. And then you have these 2 swords which hold on to the back. You have a plug over there. Well, you have a hole, and there is the plug nicely hidden under there. So it doesn't really, you know, distract from the figure. You do have that plug, but you're not really gonna see it due to the hair and the nature of the design. But yeah, I got some more golds, a little bit of writing, 01, which is probably her, because each means 1. I know that much Japanese, not really much more. And you have some more gunmetal over there. It looks nice, and of course we can take the swords out. Not quite as long. Let's look at the sword length. You have triple sizes. And yeah, the last one's just ridiculous, but I freaking love it. Love it. So the 2 swords for the double holsters, they look pretty much identical. Let's give you another look at that. Yeah, it's great. It's a great arsenal also if you're a fan of having that kind of stuff. And obviously you got the Figma back and the Figma base, as you have with all the Figmas. Final thoughts, and I gotta say, this figure looks great already. That's like the one thing. It's taking up some space, but I feel like it's worth it. So overall, I love the design once again. The idea of just kind of combining high school girls with a little bit of armor, big swords, always a big fan. It's so Japan, so animated. How can you not love it? The articulation is standard for the most part. They did some extra stuff, especially in the chest, which helps with some more dynamic posing. And yeah, I feel like it really blows it out of the park is the accessories, the amount of giant swords, and the big kind of like Metal Gear-ish holster in the back. It's great. It's also just like, this is soft-ish, so it does wiggle around, and it does connect all very well. I thought at first, when I saw the small little plug, I was like, oh, it's gonna fall out. No, I put that in, and I put her into the pose, I handled her a little bit, nothing fell out, everything fell nicely into place, and I didn't have any trouble with it. The only really complaint I have is obviously some of the issues with the paint, and also, I got this one pre-owned, so I paid a little bit less for it, but the original price point I think was fairly high for these, like in general the high school girls guys. Same with Falslander. It's not cheap, but if you're into design and if you're into big swords and whatnot, this is definitely something I can recommend. But again, it's gonna cost you. It's gonna be a little bit heavy on the wallet. But then again, you know, sometimes it's just worth it, and this one I feel like it is. That's gonna do it, guys. As usual, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this review, hit it over like and subscribe to the channel so you can stay tuned for more figure reviews, card game stuff, and whatever each wants. I can't really think of anything. Better paint job, I guess, yeah.